Hello there, Chazo here, back with another video, and today I'm going to show you how to get big triceps. Keep watching. Peace. If you're expecting a magic pill or a shortcut, this video is not for you. What I'm performing in the video are what we call diamond push-ups, and diamond push-ups put a lot of emphasis on your triceps, and of course they work your inner chest and your shoulders. As for beginners, you might find this move a little bit complicated. You can start by moving in a few inches from your normal push-up grip until you can get comfortable using this grip. And the beauty about push-ups is you can manipulate them. You can go faster, you can choose to go at a slow tempo. At the top of the diamond push-up, you have to squeeze really hard and make sure you lock out your shoulders at the top. Make sure you're going all the way down and all the way up. I think all of you have heard of the phrase mind-muscle connection. When you're working out, you have to ensure that the part you're intending to work out is actually being worked out. And this is a tip I normally give out to beginners. You make sure at the top of the movement you're trying to bring your elbows together at the top of the movement. Make sure your arms are straight at the top. You can decide to switch the tempo in between a workout, or you can decide that one day you're going extremely fast so that you can work on your fast twitch muscle fibers, or you can decide to go at a very slow tempo so that you can also work on the slow twitch muscles. I would recommend that you get at least one day where the focus is going to be only on the triceps and you got to hit them with all you have. Make sure by the time you're done with the workout, you've squeezed out each and every ounce of energy that you have. By this point in my workout, my triceps were on fire. But of course, I always remember when it hurts, that's when it matters the most. So I kept on pushing. Do not quit until you're done with the workout. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done with the workout you had planned. That's why going into this workout, at least I say that minimum number of repetitions that I'm going to perform that particular day, so that at least if I don't feel energetic at that particular moment in time, at least I can aim for that number I had initially. But of course, when I'm feeling good, the number I set is merely a baseline. I make it a point to push myself further until I feel like I've gotten enough from the workout. As you can see here, the shirt came off, and you know when the shirt gets off, you know it is about to go down. Initially, I planned to film this workout after my evening run, but of course it rained really heavily that day, so I decided to do some workouts as I waited for the rain to stop falling. As you can see here, I'm going all the way down and locking up at the top. Of course it was burning, but of course I had to squeeze out a few repetitions because here I was aiming for 20 repetitions. Guys, I cannot emphasize this enough. When you feel that burning sensation, when you feel you are so tired, the lactic acid is hitting your triceps, this is the time to actually go harder. This is when it counts the most. You don't have to quit. This is how you grow from this workout. I think all of you are well versed with the principle of progressive overload. This is going harder than you did the previous time. You just have to make sure that each and every time you're going harder than you did in the previous workout. This is how you grow, because your body is an ultimate adaptation machine. Whatever you put to it, it is going to adapt. So what you have to do is make it a point that your body is constantly adjusting to new stimulus. Next, I want to talk about intensity. You can increase intensity either by reducing the rest time in between sets. For example, if today I rested for at least a minute in between my workout, I can reduce that to at least 45 seconds. Honestly, if you want to grow, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. I think we can all pick a leaf from Arnold Schwarzenegger, arguably the greatest bodybuilder to ever exist. Arnold Schwarzenegger had a weak point, which were his calves. So what did he do? He decided to give calves attention. He made it a point to expose his calves to the public while covering his strength, that is the chest, the arms. So if you want to grow your triceps, if you have baby triceps, this is you can pick a leaf from what Arnold Schwarzenegger did. Make it a point to give triceps the attention they deserve. Secure a day for only hitting your triceps, and when you do, hit them really hard. Leave everything on the gym floor. If we could apply the same intensity that Tom Platz applies to leg days, trust me, it doesn't matter if you have small calves, if you have small triceps, you have to hit them really hard. Leave the gym when your triceps are on fire. You can barely straighten out your arms. That is how you grow, because your body is going to adjust to make it a point that it doesn't suffer the same fate. But of course, while I'm telling you to go really hard on the muscle groups, in case you feel there is a discomfort you're feeling in your muscles or your tendons, there's no harm in stopping. Like I tell you guys, it's all about safety. Safety comes first. If you feel you're injured, if you feel something is really unnatural, stop. But of course, the trick is you have to do so many repetitions to grow. There's no shortcut. You have to put in hard work. That is how you grow. And of course, why I'm employing body weight exercises is I'm trying to build my tendons. I haven't really hit gym in a long time. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm not only building my endurance, but also my tendons. Of course, when you go to gym, we tend to forget that tendons are supposed to be trained. Train our muscles. You find that your muscles can handle most of the weights you're lifting, but what we forget is, can our tendons handle? We forget that. Everyone in gym tends to forget that. That is a fact. No one trains their tendons. Few people do. Of course, it's like on a bench press. How many people train their rotator cuffs? Very few people. That's why before I hit the bench, I start by warming up my rotator cuffs, because I know these are the weak links. You're only as strong as your weaker links. Trust me, this is a fact of life. If your weaker link gives way, trust me, you're going to get injured. You don't need any fancy equipment to get in shape. Look at Mike Tyson in his prime. The guy was such a beast, but the guy would only use calisthenics. Look at Adama Traore. The guy says he has never ever lifted a single weight in his life, but he's jacked as hell. Why it is easier to build muscle when you're lifting weights is that you can easily increase by either a kilogram or what, but here you're going to find that your body weight is constant. But of course, you can make the exercise harder. There are so many variations of the push-up. There are so many variations of the pull-up. If you master one form of a bodyweight movement, you can employ some other form of bodyweight movement. Don't use this as an excuse. Trust me, there are very many other ways of doing a particular movement. Don't use that as an excuse not to get in shape. I know that most of you do not have access to the gym at this particular moment because some countries are still in a lockdown. So I would recommend that make sure you can look up for other variations on YouTube. You may think you've mastered a push-up. Trust me, there's that push-up which takes it to some other level. It is really advanced. And bodyweight exercises are really humbling. Trust me, you can find that you're benching 4 or 5, but you come here, they give you a variance of a pull-up or a push-up and you can't do it. Trust me, you're strong but you have not mastered the movement. That is why I keep on telling people, the more you do something, the easier the movement gets. Why? Because you're bettering the form. The more you do it, you realize some things work and some things don't work. Of course, with the things which work, you keep on doing them. Things which do not work, you discard. Most of us have become overly dependent on machines. Without machines, we can barely do a thing. I think a lockdown, to some extent, is really good. You realize there are some things you can do without. Of course, during lockdown, I realized without a gym, you can find ways of working out. And these ways are not only effective, but they are also functional in nature. So I would recommend that even if you're doing weights, it's better you mix up with calisthenics. I think I made a video recently where I told you that after your chest workout, you should do a burnout set of push-ups. Trust me, you may think you're good at push-ups, but how many can you do when you are already exhausted? I'm going to challenge you all. When you're exhausted, make it the best repetition you've done the entire workout. Trust me, if you can make your last repetition your best repetition, don't forget that form is always paramount at all times. Any deviance from form could be a window for an injury. So never let your guard down at any point in time. If you have to choose between an extra repetition and not getting injured, trust me, always choose the latter. You can see that most of my repetitions are similar from the start to the end. This is what you always have to strive for when you're working out. Make sure your first set is identical to your last set, or in fact, make your last set your best set. You know my channel is all about longevity. Safety comes first. You don't have to make huge leaps in your workout. You can incrementally build up to these large numbers. You don't want to be that guy who is attempting to do 1000 push-ups in 1 hour, yet he can't even do 10 pull-ups within even 30 minutes. First work on that form before you can do all these crazy challenges you see on YouTube. I know most of you have the fear of missing out, but it is better to be safer. Get the form down. If you feel like you've built up to that volume, you can then start doing those challenges when you feel your body is ready to handle such volume. And I'm not giving you guys an excuse not to push yourself harder in the gym, because many of you talk about overtraining. You might even say you're overtraining, yet you're not even hitting half or 20% of what you're capable of. People use overtraining as an excuse. So whatever I've told you in this video is not meant to equip you with an extra excuse that you can employ next time you're in gym, when you feel pain, you're like, you know what, I don't want to get injured, so I'm not going to go any further. No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you have to choose between a rep, an extra rep, and being safe, always choose safety. But this is not an excuse for you not to push yourself really hard in the gym. If you've mastered the form, trust me, the worst that can happen is you fail at the repetition. That is all. Of course, like we can learn from powerlifters, you have to learn how to fail. What do you do if you failed on the repetition? But what is the worst that can happen on a diamond push-up? I don't really think there's much apart from stopping halfway and falling on your chest. And before I forget, you should get a gym partner to motivate you. While you're working out, you could either perform the movements at the same time, or while he's resting, you're going. While you're going, he's resting. That way, you can keep on motivating each other, and when they're counting for you loudly and giving you those words of encouragement, you're going to squeeze out that extra rep you didn't think you even had in you. Oh, and guys, I've realized one thing I don't really talk about on my channel is your diet. You cannot outtrain a very bad diet. Make it a point that after lifting, if you want to gain muscles or strength, make sure you're eating the right food. Don't just come out of gym and you're eating whatever you think is going to be right. You've put in all the effort in the gym. Why don't you want to reap the fruits of your hard work? Make it a point to eat in a healthy manner. Trust me, it is not about pushing yourself in the gym. You have to do whatever it takes to reap from your endeavors in gym. What you all have to realize that when you're in gym, you're tearing down the muscles. What is required to build your muscles? Of course, you need to intake protein. Some people recommend that you have to take at least a gram of protein for each kilogram of body weight. But of course, you have to try and see what works and what doesn't work for you. You can keep on playing with different amounts of proteins. You can even keep a diary. So if you say like for this 1 month, you're going to eat maybe a certain amount of proteins. You look at the physique after that 1 month. Is there any change to your physique? Is it working? If it is not, you can either increase or decrease. If you feel like you're taking too much proteins and you feel like you're gaining more fat than you're gaining muscle, you can then reduce on the amount of food you're taking. It is all about experimenting. Most of this research may not work for you. You might be different. So I would recommend that you experiment. But then we learn a lot from experimenting with our own bodies. Most of these studies are conducted on people who may not be similar to you, or they don't have your metabolism, they don't have your body structures. So I think you have to make it a point to try out new things. Keep trying. What you think is working, retain that. What is not working, please discard it. There's no one shoe fits all when it comes to working out. What works for the top bodybuilders may not work for me. But of course, there's an assumption that whatever works for the majority of the people has a high probability of working for me. But that is not always the case. There's always that person who is a little bit discovering new things is actually fun. You should try it out. Even if it's a workout, you might be like, for this month I'm going to use diamond push-ups and maybe close grip. Monitor. You can now measure your triceps and see, is there any change? If that doesn't work out, you say, maybe let me incorporate triceps kickbacks or something like that. So what you see, what works you keep on doing, what doesn't work you don't use it, or you can keep on rotating the exercises you do each and every time. So do not be afraid of trying new things.